Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, text number 24 and 25. Ekadadanurudhyamya Vicharan mrigayam vane Mrigananugata shrantaha Shuditastrishito brusham Jalashayamachakshanaha Praviveshatamashramam Dadarsha Munimasinam Shantam Militalocanam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Once upon a time, Maharaj Parikshit, while engaged in hunting in the forest with bow and arrows, became extremely fatigued, hungry and thirsty while following the stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of the well-known Shamika Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with closed eyes. Purport. The Supreme Lord is so kind to His pure devotees that in proper time He calls such devotees up to Him and thus creates an auspicious circumstance for the devotee. Maharaj Parikshit was a pure devotee of the Lord, and there was no reason for him to become extremely fatigued, hungry and thirsty, because a devotee of the Lord never becomes perturbed by such bodily demands. But by the desire of the Lord, even such a devotee can become apparently fatigued and thirsty just to create a situation favorable for his renunciation of worldly activities. One has to give up all attachment for worldly relations before one is able to go back to Godhead. And thus, when a devotee is too much absorbed in worldly affairs, the Lord creates a situation to cause indifference. The Supreme Lord never forgets His pure devotee, even though the latter may be engaged in so-called worldly affairs. Thus, the Lord sometimes creates an awkward situation, and the devotee becomes obliged to renounce all worldly affairs. The devotee can understand the situation by the signal of the Lord, but others take it to be unfavorable and frustrating. Maharaj Parikshit was to become the medium for the revelation of Srimad Bhagavatam by Lord Krishna, as his grandfather Arjuna was the medium for the Bhagavad Gita. Had Arjuna not been taken up with an illusion of family affection by the will of the Lord, the Bhagavad Gita would not have been spoken by the Lord Himself for the good of all concerned. Similarly, had Maharaj Parikshit not been fatigued, hungry and thirsty at this time, Srimad Bhagavatam would not have been spoken by Srila Shukadeva Goswami, the prime authority of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, this is a prelude to the circumstances under which Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken for the benefit of all concerned. The prelude, therefore, begins with the words, once upon a time. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. The national elections have just ended, and today the new Prime Minister is going to be sworn in the evening. So there were a lot of slogans in the campaign. There were great expectations on numbers, etc. And after the actual numbers from the exact polls differed from the exit polls, there was a kind of awkward situation for many people. The pollsters, journalists in the media, the party that had claimed to win with big numbers faced some awkward situation. Whereas the opposition celebrated the reduced numbers of their rival as if they themselves had won. So one of the exit pollster who had made the predictions, he cried on the live TV because he was being criticized for having gotten the numbers wrong. It seemed like the one who was proudly declaring the election results to be a foregone conclusion even before the results came out, seemed to be a bit sad after the expected numbers were not achieved. And he looked awkward in public appearance. So in today's verse also we see that Maharaj Parikshit is also facing an awkward situation. Although he was a pure devotee, and he is never expected to face such a situation. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, the Supreme Lord is so kind to his pure devotees that in proper time he calls such a devotee up to him and thus creates an auspicious circumstance for the devotee. So what appears to be an awkward situation for people in general, a pure devotee knows that it is an auspicious circumstance created by the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit was a pure devotee of the Lord. There was no reason for him to become extremely fatigued, hungry, and thirsty. Because a devotee of the Lord never becomes perturbed by such bodily demands. We will see further in Srimad Bhagavatam when Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. At one point, you know the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Shukadeva Goswami for 7 days and 7 nights continuously without stoppage. And Parikshit Maharaj was listening. Shukadeva Goswami was going on speaking, Parikshit Maharaj was listening, and all the assembly of sages were also listening. So there was no break. No commercial break, no ads, no skipping, unskippable ad, nothing was there. Continuous. And at one point, nearing to the 10th canto, that means almost 5-6 days has got over. Shukadeva Goswami was wanting to bring out the glory of Parikshit Maharaj's listening skills actually. So he apparently kind of paused. So then Parikshit Maharaj said, please do not stop. If you are concerned that maybe I am tired, fatigued, hungry or thirsty, please know that while listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam, all my bodily demands of hunger, thirst, sleep, all have disappeared. I don't feel any hunger, I don't feel any thirst, I don't feel sleepy. Just opposite to us. Srimad Bhagavatam class means after Bhagavatam class, after the Kirtan announcement, everything, then you can think, okay, let's take some morning nap and then we'll go for prasadam. Maharaj Parikshit, on the contrary, is saying that he is not feeling any of these things. So actually a pure devotee, that means same Maharaj Parikshit, right? He is not supposed to feel this. He is not affected by these bodily demands. But here we see, while he went out for hunting, he became fatigued, hungry and thirsty. So it's an awkward situation which is not supposed to face. So why it happened? So Prabhupada says, by the desire of the Lord, even such a devotee can become apparently fatigued and thirsty just to create a situation favorable for his renunciation of worldly activities. So this was done specially by the Lord's will. Is not happening under the laws of material nature, not by Mahamaya, but the Lord's internal potency, by his own desire. Why? Because it is said, one has to give up all attachment for worldly affairs before one is able to go back to Godhead. Thus, when a devotee is too much absorbed in worldly affairs, the Lord creates a situation to cause indifference. So the Lord only created this situation so that the attachment, apparent material attachment, can be removed and the devotee can become indifferent to both happiness and distress of the material world. So, the Supreme Lord Himself has created this. The Supreme Lord never forgets His pure devotee, even though he may be engaged in so-called worldly affairs. Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the world. So, obviously, he is managing the entire worldly affairs. So, it appears apparently as if he has forgotten the Lord. So, the Lord created this situation. So sometimes he creates an awkward situation and the devotee becomes obliged to renounce all worldly affairs. So the devotee can understand this as the signal of the Lord. So the devotee does not feel perturbed, he feels this is a signal of the Lord. But others, people in general, take it to be unfavorable and frustrating. Right? So if you see, it is actually, if you see for people in general like all of us, this circumstance of Maharaj Parikshit is very unfavorable and frustrating. Why? Because Maharaj Parikshit was the emperor of the world. There was no place on this planet which was not under his rule. Every living entity on this planet was Maharaj Parikshit's subject, his citizen. In fact, we see in the previous chapters, he chastised Kali when he was trying to trouble that cow and the bull, Mother Earth and Dharma. And upon being begged by Kali, he accommodated Kali. He accommodated Kali in such a way that he was still confident of protecting his kingdom from the evil influence of Kali. So he gave the appropriate places, which is actually not found in his kingdom at all. And those who are executing self-control will not be affected by the influence of Kali. Such places he gave. But it is most surprising that such an emperor himself seemed to be falling under the spell of illusion. So it is obvious that ordinary people like us, we think it is unfavorable and frustrating. But pure devotees of the Lord, like Parikshit Maharaj, understands it as the signal of the Lord. It is His special mercy. So Srila Prabhupada further gives an example here in the purport of Maharaj Parikshit's grandfather, Arjuna. Even Arjuna was put into illusion. Actually, Arjuna is a pure devotee, he is eternal associate of Lord. He is the supreme friend, he is the friend of the Supreme Lord. Eternal friend of the Supreme Lord, always with the Lord. Right? So how can he fall under illusion? So Prabhupada says here, for the sake of bringing out Bhagavad Gita, Lord wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita, therefore he put Arjuna under the spell of illusion. Actually, Arjuna does not need to understand Bhagavad Gita to come out of illusion. It is for us. But the Lord used Arjuna as an instrument so that we get Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj also has been put into illusion, which has resulted in the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam by Shukadeva Goswami, which is being relished by all of us because of Parikshit Maharaj being put under illusion by the Lord. So Lord Krishna, our Supreme Lord, He is a transcendental magician, a hypnotist. He hypnotizes everyone, especially his devotees. So he creates all kinds of awkward situations, awkward circumstances for the devotees. But still, the devotees cannot give up surrendering to him, loving him, being devoted to him. That is the kind of hypnotism of Krishna. That's why Krishna is also called all attractive. The word meaning of Krishna means all attractive. He attracts everyone. Especially he attracts his devotees. Even though the devotees are in so much trouble, apparently because they are devotees. Still the devotees cannot give up Krishna. We see this example from the very beginning of Krishna's life. Even before his appearance, his mother and father are put into trouble. Vasudeva and Devaki, just because he is going to be born, they are put into prison. All his elder brothers were killed because he is going to be born. Kamsa killed all his previous 6 brothers. And then, after his birth, Vasudeva and Devaki had performed so much penance in the previous lives to get the Supreme Lord as their son. But did they enjoy after his birth? Immediately after his birth, he was taken away. Still suffering. For so many years, they were still in the prison. Okay, then did Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai and the residents of Vrindavan, did they all enjoy? Okay, they did enjoy a little bit, but there was also fully troubles. Even there. From the very beginning, so many demons attacking. Putana, Agasura, Trinavarta, Shakatasura, this Asura, that Asura. So many demons attacking always. So much so that these Vrajavasis, they had to shift from their place where they were staying originally for generations together. They were staying in a place called Gokula. Because of the attacks of all these demons, the attacks was on just one child. But they all decided we will all shift from this village and go somewhere else, just to protect this one child. Imagine, now if there is some kind of terrorist attack, but the target is only one person in one house, and the government tells entire Rajajinagar has to be evacuated so that this one person can be protected. They say, what nonsense, you take him off first. Why should we leave? We have paid EMIs, we have purchased our this thing, we are paying rent, we are doing this, that, they will not go. But here voluntarily they are all saying, no, we will go for what? For one child. They all didn't tell Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, get out. But they all decided they will shift. They left and went to another place, to Nandagaon. Not only they left their neighboring village, even Radharani's village, her place, Rawal, from there they shifted to Barsana. All this for one person, one small child, Krishna. So much trouble he is giving. Still they love him so much, they all shifted, they went. And there also still troubles did not end. Whenever he goes out with the cows for grazing in the forest, demons will come again. Again they are attacking. Always some anxiety. Krishna means anxiety. After that, okay, now all demons were all killed. Okay, now Krishna is growing up. Now there is no problem. Krishna will be with us, they thought. But then Akrura came. He told, no, Krishna is not your son. He is Vasudeva and Devaki's son. He has bigger duties. He has to kill Kamsa. I am taking him. All Vrajavasis, separation, whole life separation from him. Because he left. So like this, if you see, Krishna only gave trouble. Still the Vrajavasis could not forget him. They always were loving Krishna. So that is the kind of hypnotism he has done. Did he stop there? No. Later he came to Mathura, he became king, whatever and then he did not spare his cousins, Pandavas. Just because they were his cousins and they were so devoted to him, So many troubles. So Prabhupada says in one lecture very nicely about this. In fact, it is in the Bhagavatam lecture on first canto, 5th chapter, 19th shloka, where actually Narada Muni is telling Vyasadeva about how Krishna is such a hypnotist. He is telling even Vyasadeva that you have written so many Vedic literature, but you have not directly described Krishna. But Krishna is the ultimate goal, because, my dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down, somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So once if you have touched Krishna, that's it, you are gone. Booked for eternity, not just one life, life after life. Smaran mukundangri upagohanam punaha. That is the shloka. Prabhupada is saying, one who has chanted Hare Krishna, he cannot give up. He cannot give it up. He has to come again, this life or next life. Krishna does not leave him. Sometimes we see some devotees, you would have seen some people were coming to temple, they were attending, they were participating very nicely. After some time they stopped coming. They say, hey, what is this? They left. But here, Prabhupada is saying, he has to come again, this life or next life. It may be temporarily, he may not be seen, but he will not be given up. Krishna will not give up. Krishna will not leave him. Krishna, once you surrender sincerely, Krishna, I am yours. Krishna will never leave him. He will protect you. So, Prabhupada says this is Krishna Vashikriyate. Vashikriyate means hypnotized. It is so nice that one becomes hypnotized. Prabhupada is giving the example. Otherwise, why these boys are working so hard? Prabhupada is telling about his disciples, the foreign devotees. Prabhupada went there single-handed. And he made so many devotees, all young men, Americans, Europeans, and they are working so hard for Prabhupada. Prabhupada is laughing and saying, they are all qualified. They can earn money outside. In your country, sufficient money is paid for work. But they are all hypnotized here. Prabhupada is saying, I have hypnotized them, so they are here. They are not going out for working. So Krishna is so nice. He is all attractive. He hypnotizes his devotees in spite of, just like the Pandavas. Prabhupada is now giving the example of Pandavas. The Pandavas, they were Krishna's friend. Arjuna was friend, but all other brothers also. Arjuna was very intimate friend, but other brothers, the 4 brothers, they were also Krishna's friends. And Kunti, the Pandava's mother, she happened to be the aunt of Krishna. So they were, Prabhupada is saying, established in relation with Krishna. But what was the result? As a result, they were banished for 12 years. They lost the game of dice, so they were banished. And their wife Draupadi, she was insulted. They could not insult her, but they tried to insult her. So they tried to make her naked in the assembly. And they lost their kingdom. And they were banished for 12 years, 13 years. So after all this happened, after this incident, once Narada Muni went to Dwaraka, he met Krishna. So Prabhupada is narrating that. He's saying Narada Muni met Krishna. So Narada Muni is a devotee, so he could speak with Krishna with little criticism. So he criticized Krishna. He said, my dear sir Krishna, by becoming your devotee, the Pandavas are very happy. They have lost their kingdom. Their wife is insulted. in spite of being placed in so much inconveniences, their love for you has so much increased. That is the position of Pandavas. This is Krishna consciousness. So Narada Muni is saying, what is this? This is what you have done to Pandavas, and they are still increasing their love to you. So devotional service is so pure and perfect. Srila Prabhupada says this in Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita's 3rd shloka's purport. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that once one has begun it, if you have just begun, you took the holy name of Krishna, sincerely you chanted once, if you have begun that, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. Forcibly dragged to ultimate success. Sometimes a person will give up his ordinary material engagements out of sentiment and take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and thus begin the preliminary execution of devotional service. Even if such an immature devotee falls down, there is no loss on his part. On the other hand, what is the gain of one who executes the prescribed duties according to his varna and ashrama, but does not take to devotional service? Although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in a low family, his devotional service will nonetheless resume from where it was left off. Start from where you left. That's why you see sometimes some devotees or some persons who come to Krishna consciousness, they come in touch with temple, they read Prabhupada books. In few days, few weeks, you will see that they become very serious. They start practicing very seriously. They become so dedicated, and so quickly they become, staunch devotees. I have seen personally, I have experienced seeing such devotees. There was one devotee when I was a student. I used to come way back in 2002, 2003. I used to come to temple from college, and at that time, I was seeing one person, a folk person just like me. Actually, I was coming before him. And, he got introduced. I saw him, he purchased a book in Gita counter. I was doing service. I gave him book. Then he started coming for some classes and all that. So I was thinking that, nice, he is coming. He was a little older. Of course, he was working already. And I was a student. I was younger to him. But then in Krishna consciousness, I was thinking, I am senior. I have introduced him. I have given him all this. So then he used to come regularly. Whenever I came, I used to see him. And then in 6 months, I saw, after 6 months, he has shaved up. And he is in ashram. And after that, in a few months, I have seen he is wearing saffron. And then after a few days, he is already transferred to some other center. And he's got initiated. So then I thought, my God, what? He came in front of me, huh? I gave him book today, he is already... So you see that actually, he must be starting from where he left off previous. So some people, quickly they progress because of this. So devotional service is ahaituki apratihata. It is not the effect of any mundane cause, nor it can be terminated by any mundane cause, or permanently it cannot be curtailed by any material interruption. Therefore, a devotee should be confident about his engagement and should not be very interested in the activities of karmis, jnanis and yogis. Prabhupada says this in Nectar of Instruction, shloka number 3, purport. So even Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada himself, faced many difficulties while he started Krishna consciousness. We all know Srila Prabhupada's story. Actually, Srila Prabhupada came from a very good family, affluent business family. He himself had a very good established business. He was a chemist. His business was doing very well. He had a factory and he was having shops. He was having business in different cities in pre-independent India. Prabhupada says in one place that, at that time, one of the, best cars was called Buick car. Like now there is some Mercedes like that. So Prabhupada at that time, he had this car. Now he was doing very well. But after he came in touch with Krishna consciousness, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj told him that you should spread this Krishna consciousness in English language. He started spending his personal money from the business for Krishna consciousness. Using his personal money, he started writing, he started printing Back to Godhead magazine. Nobody is interested to buy. He was personally writing, proofreading, editing, printing, and distributing. And, after some days, his business also failed. One of his factory got burnt down. So finally, he even left home. He thought he will start taking it up full time. He started on League of Devotees in Jhansi. He had a building. He got a building for donation. And he started that. He had even published some objectives of this League of Devotees. And then someone who was maybe a wife of the mayor or deputy mayor of Jhansi, she came and told, we want this building for a ladies' club. And they took it away. So the League of Devotees also got closed like this. So later on, he somehow gathered funds. He wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, he printed, published. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj indicated from within that he has to take sannyas and he has to go to America. Now that you have books, you have to go and you have to start preaching in the Western world. So even after going there, it was not easy. So Prabhupada says in one of the conversations, just like our organization, not that all of a sudden it has become so big. Prabhupada is saying, for more than 1 year, I was simply loitering on the street of New York like a vagabond. Who was hearing me? Nobody was hearing Prabhupada for 1 year. Still, I am going once in a month to the ship company. Prabhupada had come in the ship, right? From Calcutta, from Bombay to Boston. He had come in Jaladuta and then he had settled. So once in that 1 year, he was struggling, he didn't have a place. So every month he used to go back to that Boston to the ship company. Why? So Prabhupada would go and inquire. So when your next ship is going to India, so the manager, Swamiji, you are coming. Are you coming? When you are going next? So Prabhupada said, I said, yes, I have no business practically here. But still, I want to stay and see if things can be pushed. Therefore, I am waiting. So every month he used to go and ask and then he would say, okay, next month, let me see, one more month. So otherwise, I am useless. I am simply loitering and seeing this Fifth Avenue in New York. And within the subway station, after taking my lunch, I used to go by bus here and there, in the subway, anywhere, no shelter. I was cooking myself in a friend's house. That is that one yoga instructor, Ramurthy Mishra. In his house, Prabhupada was staying and he was cooking. So Prabhupada says, he took it that I have got a free cook. And 2 men, of course, sometimes some guests would come and I would be very glad. 10, 20 people, I would feed them. And they would like very much dal, chapati, one sabji, bas, everyone would like. Everyone would like dal, chapati and one vegetable. I will take pleasure. Sometimes somebody would come to assist me. He wanted to eat immediately. He will come to assist, but after seeing the rice, dal, chapati, so nice it is, he wants to eat immediately. Then after cooking, immediately he wants to eat. Prabhupada would say, no, that you cannot. After I have finished, when it is offered to Krishna, then I will give you sumptuous prasadam, not before that. So there was nothing, only little rice, dal, chapati, but it was so nice. Everyone would praise. The same thing when I took my own apartment, I did the same thing, distributed prasadam. Then gradually they came forward to assist me. So Prabhupada is recalling in another one letter to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Later on, when I was young, Prabhupada, when he was still young, he was just maybe in his early 30s, I lost my father. I was very sorry to have lost such affectionate father. But Prabhupada is saying, but by Krishna's grace, I now have many American fathers and mothers. So I am appealing to all of my American fathers and mothers to help me by this contribution to Krishna consciousness movement. Another letter he writes to the Matajis, Yamuna, Malati and Janaki. He writes, my dear little mothers, Yamuna, Malati, Janaki, please accept my blessings. I lost my mother when I was only 14 years old. So I didn't get much of my mother's affection in my childhood. But in my old age, Krishna has given me so many young mothers to take care of me. Another mother, Govinda Dasa, is also there in Hawaii. She is always asking me to go there. So I will go there within this 1 month. But my one appeal is to my fathers and mothers, try to push on this Krishna consciousness movement. That is very pleasing to me. Another letter Prabhupada writes to one more Mataji, Nandarani. Regarding my health, I am keeping well. But after all, this body is old enough. Although personally I do not feel old. Prabhupada is saying body is old, but I do not feel old. Why? I feel exactly like your little child. I am taken care of by so many fathers and mothers like you. So I have no anxiety. Somebody asked me whether I am happy. So I replied that I left my home consisting of 5 children, where I felt not very much comfortable. But Krishna has given me many obedient and loving children, even though I am in a foreign country. That is my happiness. And Prabhupada is saying, actually real love can be perceived only on the platform of Krishna consciousness, where there is no possibility of thinking oneself in the bodily concept of life. So let us try to introduce this nice consciousness in the human society. One more place Prabhupada says, in his lecture on Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami's disappearance day, he is recalling, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, after seeing me, said that you all are learned, then why don't you preach the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in foreign countries? On this I argued with him. I said, we are a dependent country, who will listen to us? Then Guru Maharaj, my first meeting, my actual connection was not there with the Guru, but ultimately he was Guru. He argued with me. Very nicely he explained to me, and I was defeated also. So, by his mercy, in the first meeting only, his words that you would go to the foreign countries and try to spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's thoughts, that is bhakti, knowledge. Then at the end of his life in 1936, he wrote me a letter, 15 days before his disappearance, that you preach in English. In this you will be benefited and even the world will be benefited. In this way I was inspired by my Guru Maharaj all the time. Prabhupada is saying, because of my incompetence from 1922 to until 1965, I was just planning. I did not get any chance. By some reason or other, by God's mercy, by following the instructions of Guru Maharaj, I reached New York. Like I mentioned, there I had just 40 rupees. And in New York, to spend $2 is a matter of 1 or 2 hours. And the conversion of dollars is $2 as per today's calculation. So there was no support, but by God's grace, in a town called Butler, one of my friends from Agra had his son living there. He came and took me with him. I stayed there for 10 to 15 days. He had married an American girl and he was a gentleman. After that, I came to New York. In New York, I had rented a home. I did not have money. By selling books somehow or other, I was managing. Everything was stolen from there. My typewriter, my tape recorder, my books, all things were stolen. In New York also there is stealing, Prabhupada is saying. So thieves all over the place, everything was stolen. Then one of my disciples, he took me to his house. There I lived for some days. In this way I had to take trouble for 1 year. Sometimes here, sometimes there, no fixed place, nothing fixed about eating, living, there was no money. I had taken some books, Srimad Bhagavatam. After that, somehow or other, since I had $200, I took a small storefront on rent. It is called storefront. I started meetings. 3, 4, 5, all these children used to come, not old people. Young people are very enthusiastic. They want something. By watching their mother and father, they were assured that there is no happiness. That is why, in America, there are many hippies. Children from big, rich people's houses, they do not want things to be like their father and mother. So Prabhupada says that in that way, he went. So in fact, he says, in this way, in fact, even when he was going to America from India, he was not going to get clearance because he had books. So Prabhupada actually apparently told one lie. He told, I am going to simply give free distribution of this book. I am not going to sell. It is not for sale. So please give me for free passage. So he got a free passage. But then Prabhupada said in this way, 1966, by selling the books, actually what Prabhupada sold, I only had $200. Storefront is $125 per month. And my apartment is $75. I had only $200. So I advanced him. I do not know how to pay next month's rent. So I started in 1966, lecturing in a storefront, living in that apartment, 26 2nd Avenue. Gradually these boys, American boys and girls began to come. Then I started in Tompkinson Square Park. More and more younger Americans, they came to me. These things were organized. Then I registered the Krishna Consciousness Society under Religious Act of New York in 1966. Gradually people took interest. People means younger section. So all the boys and girls, they were of, Prabhupada is saying the average age of the young boys and girls who came to him, they were 16. All 16 years, 17 years, 18 years old. Krishna Dasa, he was at that time 16 years old, Prabhupada is saying, showing on devotee. And he's saying the oldest was 29 years old, Kirtanananda. All between this 16 to 30 years old. And with these, Srila Prabhupada started a worldwide movement. So it appears, as Prabhupada said, it appears awkward circumstances. Prabhupada was put in awkward circumstances. And in such awkward circumstances, it appeared that, maybe he will not, how he will succeed. But Prabhupada was very confident because he thought this is a signal from the Lord. And he pushed on this Krishna consciousness movement. And one more very famous, it is there in Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita also, very famous instance of how Prabhupada used to go to one park every day for morning walk, even during his early days in 1965. He used to go on a morning walk in the park, and at that time many people come for morning walks. So Prabhupada would go and sit on a bench, and then one more person used to come. He was an American, Jewish American. He was a subway conductor. New York subways, he was one of the conductor there. So he used to come for his morning walk. Prabhupada also would come, so he would sit on the same bench. So they became friends. So once he asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, from so many days I am seeing you, you're always all alone, you're coming and doing this. So who are you? What is your purpose? Why have you come here and all? So Prabhupada said, I am the founder Acharya of a worldwide movement, which I have 10,000 disciples. I have more than 108 temples all over the world. I have written so many books. I have translated all Vedic literature into English language. So he looked at him, he's a 70-year-old man, what he's talking, maybe he's gone. But Prabhupada, Swamiji, I see you're always alone. What is this you're telling all this? Yes, all these are there, but time is separating those from me. So Prabhupada always knew that the Lord has a plan. So he was not perturbed under any circumstances. So when we hear stories like this of Maharaj Parikshit, of Arjuna, of Srila Prabhupada, many times, mostly, all of you must be thinking like this, and even I used to always think like this, that they are all pure devotees, so they are under direct shelter of Krishna. So even if it is some trouble, reversal, it appears, it's all because the Lord's plan, as Prabhupada said, as Prabhupada himself is mentioning in the purport, it is Lord's plan. So it is all like a drama. So they are not really suffering, they are not really having some pain or anything. It's just drama. But if it comes to me, if it comes to all of us, because we are all just sadhakas, we are not some pure devotee and all. How can I face? I cannot face all this. Krishna will protect pure devotees like that. How I can take reversals? So actually we should understand pure devotees actually don't have trouble. So why all these troubles are shown? It is actually for setting an example for all of us. How we should take reversal, how we should take troubles, how we should perceive troubles in our life. It's not that because they have to, it is not simply some drama, leela which is being played out, but actually for teaching us only. When reversals, when troubles, when struggles come to us, how should we perceive it? To show us. And those struggles, problems, reversals are real experiences by pure devotees. It's not that Prabhupada was not feeling those troubles. It was not that Parikshit Maharaj did not actually, it was not that he was doing drama of fatigue, thirst and hunger. He actually was feeling hungry, thirsty by the will of the Lord. So similarly, the experience is true. So when we go through such experiences, also how should we perceive? The example is given by these examples of pure devotees. So I will conclude with a very small personal story. Recently, even I had such kind of a personal experience in my life. After practicing for so many years of Krishna consciousness, at least theory will go fully inside. Theory is there. So, anybody says anything, bad news, this, that, and all, we not take very seriously, especially devotees. Actually, we should be very soft-hearted, but become hard-hearted because we all see everything as theory and then we think, okay. Somebody died, means, soul is eternal, the body is temporary, doesn't matter at all. Like that only we think, right? Especially after, if you have given classes, you have read and all that, no? But realization, how much it is there, that will be tested. So, some time back, when we had gone to pilgrimage to Vrindavan, and I had taken my cousin who was just starting Krishna consciousness, and, first visit to Vrindavan and all that. Her grandfather, we went to Vrindavan. On the first night, we stayed in Vrindavan. We just reached and we arrived. And on that night, she got the news. Her grandfather was around 92, 93 years old. He passed away. So she was little sad. Next day morning, we were supposed to go to Vrindavan Parikrama. We were going. But throughout the Parikrama, she had not much got interest because she was thinking about her grandfather. He has passed away. She was feeling sad. And I am going, I am fully in Josh. I am saying, this is this place, that place, this place. She's not so much interested. Then finally she asked me, you devotees, are you not affected by death and all that? See, I am feeling like this. How do you perceive death? Then I gave big philosophy. Devotees know we are spirit soul, we are not body. We have this thing, death is temporary, that, this and all that. Then I told cat, kitten example, all of you know, right? For devotee, even death means it's like cat catching the kitten. For non-devotee, cat catching the rat. So it's apparently like, I'm telling your grandfather is rat. You see, so insensitive, right? In that sense. We are not affected, death and all, for us, nothing like that. So anyway, over with time, everything heals. She also, 4 or 5 days we were there, and she also forgot, okay, death happens over this thing. She also started enjoying the trip and all that, and then we came back. So then we were in Bangalore. After coming back to Bangalore, I was busy in my own service, everything, all that. Almost 1 month passed. Suddenly one day I got fever. Then I got fever, the temperature was not reducing, 2 days over, 3 days over. So I was thinking, what's happening? Maybe some little I am tired, let me take a rest, let me take some paracetamol, this, that. Still not reducing. Finally, I called one of our doctors only who was, comes to temple regularly, one of our congregation devotees. I was so weak, I had to call him home. So he came home, he told that, okay, Prabhu, I will give you an injection, maybe we'll take blood sample and then we will see some viral fever it will be. So he told that and he drew the blood. As soon as he drew the blood, I fell unconscious. Then he got scared, something serious, let's admit you. So I got admitted in the hospital. So I got admitted, doctors also not sure what is happening. They did all the tests, everything was negative. No typhoid, no viral fever, nothing. So finally they did a liver function test or something. They saw that liver's enzyme values are so high, it should be some 50, 60. Mine was 5,000. So second day, I was not feeling much symptom. I was feeling weak, tired, and they had put drips and I was there. And I was not so much, I didn't know so much. I was just normal. But I was so weak, I was not able to even chant. Not speaking much, nothing. Hearing also is little, drowsy kind of thing. So the second day, after getting admitted, the doctor came and told, your values are very high, maybe there will be some internal bleeding, some external bleeding will happen, it is very dangerous. If you see any bleeding, you tell her. I told, no, nothing, I am just feeling weak, nothing else. So I did not think much. Then later on in the afternoon, she called my wife, she told, no, this is very serious, very critical. He may pass away anytime, it is very serious. So make arrangements, whatever you tell this thing, or you take second opinion, whatever you want you do. But we have done whatever we could. If you want to take to some other hospital also, you take and all that. And don't tell the patient, he'll get panic and all. But apparently, after that, naturally, she is feeling sad. She told some devotees came. Suddenly, I am seeing so many devotees are coming. 2 devotees, 3 devotees, 5 devotees. At one time in the hospital ward, 10, 12 devotees are there. Then I thought, okay, there is something serious. Otherwise, why they will all come suddenly? And I am not able to chant, to do much this thing. So they are all chanting, they are all telling, Prabhu, you hear nicely, this, that. And I thought, okay, something has happened. Then I started asking, tell me the truth, Baba, what is happening, let me be prepared. No, nothing, everything is okay. So finally, they called my parents, my mother came, then she started crying. Then I thought, okay, that means now it is confirmed. But strangely, I did not feel much scared or this thing at that time, because all 12 devotees are there. All are chanting, they are talking some Krishna Katha, they are joking, they are telling something from, that trip we went like this, it was this or that. No, I am also enjoying. I completely became oblivious, even though I know back of the mind I was becoming oblivious. I was happy in Krishna consciousness talking to all of them. And they did another test. They said evening report will come. If that report if it is something reduced values, then there is hope. Otherwise it is. So they are all anxious actually. They are all anxious and they are waiting for the report. Meanwhile, they are keeping me engaged like this by talking nicely and all. And I am not so bothered. I am just going on with the flow. So evening, finally 7:30, 8 o'clock, report came. So report came and they all became relieved. Oh, values have come down little bit. So he's out of danger. So now devotees all know, okay, out of danger. So they said, Hare Krishna Prabhu, bye. Everyone left. After everyone left, now my panic started. Now I am alone. My wife also tired. She also slept off late night, 10 o'clock over. Now my worry is, now nobody is there. She is also sleeping. I am so weak, I am not able to chant. She told, hey, you sleep. She took away my phone also. Nothing is there. What if I fall asleep and in sleep if I die? What will happen? So I should not sleep. I should at least try to remain conscious. And whole night this was a struggle going on. So afraid of death. I'm going to die. Whole night. If I close my eyes, maybe I'll die. That is the thinking. Whole night not able to this thing. And at one stage I woke her up, my wife. I told her, I don't think I'll go out of the hospital. Then she is fully crying. Hey, what happened? Yeah, it's all relief. They are telling our test values are all okay. Why you are telling like this? So I am fully So then I started reflecting. I was calling that 93-year-old grandfather who died as rat. What am I? Where is my realization? Where is my this thing? I am not able to chant. I am not able to think. All my strength is because all these devotees were there, 10, 12 devotees were there, they were all chanting, they were all engaging. I am fully happy, I forgot death. They left, death came back. Actual death didn't come back, but in my mind, death has come already. And I am struggling so much. So that day morning, 3:30 only, I am waking up, I told, call some devotee. Then my wife is saying, I am not devotee. And I told, no, you are a devotee, but you are affected party. You will cry. Devotees, they will not cry because they have theory, like me only. They will simply tell philosophy, but at least I will be relieved. So finally some devotee came and, Mangalarti time itself. And that next day I was so overwhelmed. So many devotees whom I have not even spoken for so many days, so many weeks, months, sometimes some years. Because interaction doesn't happen, big community, we are all busy with our own services, everything. Somehow somebody, third person, fourth person, fifth person, somebody told, they came to know, somebody sending message, Prabhu, I have done Sankalpa for Narsimha. Somebody has told, I am praying for you. Somebody has come to temple, come to hospital suddenly. Throughout the day, some devotees are coming and going. The nurses are saying, hey, what is this? Give privacy to the patient. I told them, I don't want any privacy. Like that, I felt then in 3-4 days, recovery happened so fast. And then 5th day, the same doctor who was saying you are serious and all that, everybody started scolding her. Hey, simply you are scaring the patient. Everything is fine. See, and then she discharged. In 5th day, 6th day, she discharged. So at that time, the realization I got was, with this close encounter, actually, as a sadhaka, as a practicing devotee, we may be thinking we are big, I know all philosophy, this, that, and all. Actually, our strength lies in Sangha, association of devotees. That's why Prabhupada has created International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So that devotees can all be together. And that devotees association can elevate our consciousness. Individually, we are not having any consciousness. Once one disciple told Prabhupada, one devotee told Prabhupada, because Prabhupada came and, he gave Krishna consciousness, everything. He thought, so fortunate I am. So he told, Prabhupada, we are so fortunate that we got you. So Prabhupada replied, actually you are not fortunate. I have created that fortune. So actually we are all mandabhagya. We don't have fortune, but Prabhupada has created that fortune by creating this International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur sings, I will end with this last point. He says in one Vaishnava song, Jogyata vichare kichu nahi paye, tomara karuna sar. Karuna na hoibe, kandiya kandiya. He says that is the Ohe Vaishnava Thakura song. He tells that how actually we are, if I examine myself, I will just read out that exact, please bear with me, it's already late. He says, Jogyata vichare kichu nahi paye tomara karuna sar. When I consider my qualifications, I see I have none. I am simply made of your mercy. We are all made of only devotees' mercy. So due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy, wretched soul like me could join this Krishna consciousness movement. I could be surrounded by so many merciful devotees at the time of this close encounter. So if I examine myself, I find nothing of value. Actually, I am simply made of all the Vaishnavas' mercy. Therefore, we always chant every day morning. Whatever we chant, we should always remember, it is not just simply a ritual chanting, it is actual truth of our life. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Devotees are the desire trees. They are the ocean of mercy. They are the ones who are lifting the patita, fallen like us. So we should continuously, constantly pay our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, beginning from this pure Vaishnava who has created all these Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavarind ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.